Brian Chambliss on the win. We're just going to quickly go have a look at what happened to Hernandez here at the very end. Ooh. Alright, that's a little bit of he said, she said there. We won't worry too much about that one though. Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style. Little bit of a surprise, but he gained 12 positions. Started down in some bumhole position right towards the back and ended up finishing. Oh jeez, I can't even find you.
Definitely going to change everything when it comes to the finishing order of this race. Jeremy Miller, can he recover from that kind of damage? I don't really know if he could, because this is such a aero-dependent track.
Well, see, I don't think he can, because
he smacked it pretty hard.
He came into the pits immediately after the leader, as now Chambliss comes into the pits. So does the 37 of Swiggett. So this could leave Robbie Kennelly into the lead of this race. Played him. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Welcome back to the Output Racing League and welcome to the It Won't Ruin Your Life 150 right here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Hope you are all having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever it happens to be in your particular part of the world. And this is the race that was held yesterday that we unfortunately could not broadcast live. So we've got a nice little replay here for us to be entertained with from the race that was. You can see we've got a few drivers out on track already. They're out there doing a pit party right now by the looks of things. You can see Brian Puzzakemi is currently holding the top spot with a 30.194 around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway oval. The track is a little bit sandy. There was a sandstorm that rolled through last night, so a little bit of sand across the track. These guys have been spending most of practice just blowing it off. Those tires will start to tumble a little bit more as Puzzakemi just got shoved down onto the apron by the 38 of Thomas Harmon. The 60 of Kyle Kraus and the 24 of Frank Isaacson are in there as well. Frank experimenting with some alternate dimensions, having a little bit of a blink there. Also got the 66 of Sam Niederhelm in this little group. And up at the front is Jonathan Hernandez and Mark Pentecoff. 3 wide at the back of this pack now as Puzzakemi goes down onto the apron to get underneath Frank and Sam. Now with these next gen cars, this is a very, very draft heavy track. I mean, this track is replacing Talladega as the track we were meant to be at for this race. Talladega being the super speedway, 2.5 miles in length. But from everything that we've heard so far about these next gen cars at the super speedway tracks, it's just a single file lineup around the bottom. Oh, maybe a little bit of netcode there. Thomas Harmon was on the apron. We've got an hour here for practice, and we're already halfway through it. And look at the run that Frank Isaacson just got. Straight up through the middle of both Thomas Harmon and Brian Puzzakemi. And he just slots himself in front of Thomas. Oh, there's contact. Kyle Kraus getting into the back of Thomas Harmon there. He almost went up the middle as well. Now 16 people entered the server for this race. There's 15 drivers plus myself. Strength of field for everyone who has been in this race. It was a 28.43, which is definitely not bad whatsoever. And if you hear any random yelling in the background, my apologies. That is the Angry Midget Lady. There's Thomas Harmon. And finally, there is a paint actually on Thomas Harmon's car. Previously, didn't have a paint on his car, but now he does. These guys are going to be getting in as many pit parties as they can for this practice session. Don't know what a pit party is. It's everyone finds their way to the pits, and they all come out as one big pack and do a simulation start as if they're starting a race or doing a double file restart. We're still Brian Pizzicami on top, Travis Massia currently P2, Thomas Harmon in third, it was Sam Niederhelm in fourth, and Jonathan Hernandez will be sitting in the fifth position so far in practice. You will see my name pop up in the ticker at the top of your screen. Don't worry about that, because obviously I'm not a part of the race. I just like to do a little bit of practice with these guys. This is a 1.5 mile track. For 150 miles, it's going to be 100 laps. Jesus! Fucking Christ. My apologies. As I said, you're going to hear the angry midget lady in the background, unfortunately. She's playing Star Citizen with drunk people. The angry midget lady would like to extend her deepest apologies for screaming at the top of her lungs. We're just sitting here having a little discussion about it. Now, anyway, back to the action on track. You can see we've got Mark Pentacuff, Frank Isaacson, and that was Brian Pizzicami there in one pack. This is the second pack here. This has got Jonas Marquez, Ken Campbell, Travis Massia, and Chris Champeau. Normally, you can catch Chris Champeau streaming these races live over at twitch.tv/ChampDrivesCars. There he is, the number 2 car. Oh, just about contact there, and you saw down on the apron, the 50 car doing a burnout. That's Christian Budd, our current series leader. I mean, knowing Chris, he could probably just do one race every season and he'd still win a championship. That's just how good he is. So we're still watching this group pretty intensely here. You can see off the back Ken Campbell starting to drop off a little bit. He's still within draft though, so he still has a chance as there's contact at the front. Jonas Marquez and Chris Champeau coming into contact, both of them getting into the wall. There's a little bit of Jonas trying to close the gap that wasn't quite open for him to close it. Travis Massia tries a pit entry and fails epically. Looks like all the drivers are back onto the pit lane now, so we're going to get ourselves another pit party here. Not that you can see the cars with this terrible camera angle. There's the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. He's starting to make his way out into the pit lane. See everyone just slowly mirandering their way out onto the track. Jonas Marquez, a nice close look at his car. There's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. He's already playing around with different positions for his number. He's got his number pushed forward compared to everyone else. The 50 of Christian Budd. Got the 13 of Travis Massier in there. Now this race is either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be a wreck fest, or we're going to have a very early caution and then it's going to be smooth sailing from there, or this is just going to be a completely smooth sailing kind of race. It's going to be up to the drivers how it's going to go. They're all nicely lined up here. And off they go. They were focused on the 24 of Frank Isaacson here, the autism awareness car. Jonathan Hernandez taking the lead from Christian Budd in this pit party. I think this is pit party number 3 altogether. And look at them just spread out on the back stretch, 3 wide. I seen them go 4 wide earlier. There's a 78 of Brian Pizzicami, Jack Daniels all over the car. Chris Champeau just behind him. Sam Niederhelm now on his outside. There's definitely some contact happening somewhere. Oh, and the 5 of Mark Pentecoff got hooked. So did the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. Chris Champeau, Thomas Harmon, and Jonas Marquez also involved in this little incident. And I have a sleepy puppy at my feet. Back up with the rest of the action. We're currently looking at Brian Pizzicami in the 78 car. There's a 24 of Frank Isaacson. It's like Thomas Harmon rejoining the track just behind a pit party here, so he'd be able to get back involved in it. You see side by side goes the 13 of Travis Massier and the 50 of Christian Budd. Christian really does not like these cars at 1.5-mile tracks, because the draft keeps everyone in contention. Cars aren't based on skill as much as they used to be. At least on tracks like this anyway. You can go full throttle for a couple of laps. And even then after that, you just need to do a small little lift to get through these corners. 2 lots of 3 wide. That's going through turns 1 and 2. Back down to double file they go. An inside line definitely has the advantage when they're all grouped up like this. Look how much time and space that outside line lost just now. That was a big block being thrown by the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez at the front of this pack on the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And Christian Budd in the fence. Don't see Christian Budd making mistakes often, and when he does, it's always just in practice. Look at the drafting going on down at the bottom of the track. Danny O'Brien Pizzicami pushing the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Just a bit of tight, fast-paced racing right now. These guys are definitely starting to get into the groove of things. Going to get a little bit of a tighter shot. These guys going around this track. Such close quarters driving. As I said, the way that they got to drive around here is much like how they drive around a super speedway, which is quite incredible when you got to think about it. The speeds that go into super speedway racing are right up there every single time. These guys are all sitting in 5th gear. Oh, a little bit of a bubble from Hernandez. I think that just put the 13 of Massey into the wall. That also made him check up right in front of Pentacuff, and now around goes the 88 of Hernandez after a little bit of contact with the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. Look, these guys always want to be on top when it comes to practice, qualifying and the race. If you can dominate all 3, you're doing something definitely right. So Brian Pizzicami pulled off from this pack to practice a pit entry. Definitely something that these drivers should be thinking about doing. Thomas Harmon now pulling off to go practice his pit entry. As we're just 9 minutes away from the end of practice here, as you guys can see. on the standings there at the top of the screen. There's the two of Chris Champeau just up ahead of these guys. It looked like he hit the wall coming out of turn 2. One thing these guys are definitely going to be battling as this race wears on is tightness in the car, which is the inability to turn left. Because all the weight goes onto that right front tyre. It is a slightly harder compound than the left side tyres. But after a while, it will still wear away and make it very hard to turn. Especially with the high speeds that these guys are carrying through the corners. Here's Jonas Marquez. Back to Mark Pentacup in the pits. Let's go talk about Jonas Marquez here for a second, the 64 car. Let's just have a look at the sponsors that he's showing off. Because he's another one of the autism awareness cars. Proud dad of an autistic child. He also got the No R Word project on his car as well. And the ASPCA, who's a very good animal rights and protection group from America. Has been around for a very, very long time. Did a little bit of research on them one day when we had them as a race sponsor. And it's quite cool what they do. Obviously, the No R Word project, trying to get the R word out of every conversation. It's 2021, nearly 2022. The world has no place for such words. And obviously, autism awareness. See what it actually says on the front of his car here. Autism is not for wimps. Here's James Watson. He's just up the road a little bit from Jonas. He's just up the track there as well. The 15 of Ken Campbell. Of course, Ken Campbell having Campbell's soup all over his car. And if you're going to have a funny name, you may as well make the most of it. As now we have just over 5 minutes left of practice. These guys very soon will start doing some qualifying simulation runs, with qualifying being up soon. A lot of these guys still working on some long runs here. See someone on 9 laps. Christian Budge just come into the pits after 8 laps. A couple of people went into the pits after 14 and 15 lap runs. We have about 10 laps. 5 minutes left in practice because these guys are all putting out 30-second lap times. So every minute is 2 laps. Well, until they start dying off a little bit because of tyre life. I think 10 laps altogether would come at about a minute. 5 minutes and maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Oh. Big smash into the wall for the 64 of Jonas Marquez. He was getting up behind James Watson and Ken Campbell there. Jonas at that point was on a 12-lap run. Only about 7 cars on track right now. And it's just over half the field. There's James Watson. James is a very excitable driver sometimes. Definitely very exciting to watch. One-time NORL Dirt League champion. He even beat me, and I missed 2 rounds. I think I got like 4th in the standings that season. James Watson got the wall that time. Just over 2 minutes left. About 30 seconds left. We're going to go to a commercial break. James Watson comes to a grinding halt. There'll be 5 cars on track and all of them in separate space. The 2 of Chris Champeau makes his way out onto the track. Ken Campbell looks like he's pulling off. 64 Jonas Marquez is coming back on. But the 60 car cross are also pulling off, practicing that pit entry. Sometimes pit entry practice is the most important kind of practice you can do. Because it's not enough to just drive the car around the track, you also got to know how to get to pit lane under speed. Oh, the 5 of Mark Pentecoff crashing into the pit lane from the front stretch. That was a bit of a shock to the system. But it's that time of the day now. We're going to go to a quick commercial break here from the It Can't Be As Bad As It Seems 150 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So these guys can go qualifying. When we come back, we're going to see how the grid has been sorted. So we'll see you guys in about 6 minutes. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and welcome back to the It Won't Ruin Your Life 150 right here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And to the surprise of no one, Christian Budd has taken the pole once more. Surprise, surprise, though, on his outside will be the 23 of John Lozelle. Starting out of P3 is going to be the 33 of Matt Horton. Starting out of P4 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P5 will be the 13 of Travis Massio. P6, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P7, the 60 of Carl Kraus. P8. What? Oh. Excuse me, everyone. I've got to go for a second. My mum is at the door. Alrighty, we're back. Family distractions notwithstanding. And let's see, where are we? We're on lap 4. Christian Budd's in the lead, Matt Horton in P2. Travis Massey 3rd, and it looks like John Lazelle's slipped back to 5th at the moment. Currently looking at the 39 of James Watson, was just on the bottom of 3 wide. Now it's Thomas Harmon who's on the bottom of it. But Chris Champeau and Jonas Marquez there on his outside as they start to drop back now with no help. We go look up the front now. The 33 of Matt Horton has taken over the lead from Christian Budd. The 60 of Kyle Kraus up in there as well. The 13 of Travis Massier. A very, very hot day here today. And look at how close these guys are getting. This is, as I said, this is absolute super speedway racing to a T right now. No one person has the advantage as Christian Budd has slipped all the way down to 7th position. He's going to lose a few more as this run continues because he's stuck on the outside line there. See, Ken Campbell's even getting up underneath him as well. Everyone is single file around the bottom except for Christian Budd. And now the 64 Jonas Marquez has been shuffled into the outside lane as well. Let's go back to the front of the pack. I think this is some of the first laps that Matt Horton has led all season. Kyle Kraus definitely looking very strong on his tail. The 13 of Travis Massier doing really well as well. Thomas Harmon will be absolutely loving this right now, being up in the top 5, while Christian Budd is down in 8th. And now move Thomas Harmon up into the 3rd position. It looks like Travis Massier didn't get a good run that time through 1 and 2. I know Thomas Harmon would love to get a win right now. About a half a second covering the top 5. A full second back to 8th position. That is the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. We're now 10 laps into the books. 1/10 of the way through this race. 90 laps to go. And it goes by so quickly. See what the temperature is right now here where I live in Perth. It is currently 32 degrees Celsius. To say I'm sweating my balls off is an understatement. Looks like everyone's starting to get a little bit racy here now. Thomas Harmon moves up into 2nd as Kyle Kraus has been shuffled. And back up into the top 5 is Christian Budd, now back up into 4th. Kyle Kraus slots in just behind him now. Got John Lazelle up there again once more in the 23 car. We don't get to feature John Lazelle too much. One of the quiet achievers. Just consistent. He's not fast. He doesn't hold any of the fastest laps or anything like that, but he's a very consistent driver. One of those where did they come from kind of guys. like Kevin Harvick used to be. Gonna keep watching the 23 Lizelle here, because behind him, side by side they go, pack racing. As Matt Horton just made a move around the outside of Christian Budd. Kyle Kraus trying to get slotted back into line. He will do so just in front of Jonathan Hernandez. Now here comes John Lizelle trying to make a move for the lead. Up on the inside of Thomas Harmon going into turn 1. Matt Horton staying on the outside behind Thomas, giving him the draft advantage. That's going to keep the 38 car in the lead. The 60 Kyle Kraus was trying to get onto the tail of Christian Budd. That didn't quite work out that time though. Hernandez trying to get lined up with Lizelle now. Lizelle just going to slot into the 3rd position. The Christian Budd has 4th all to himself, but there's a battle for 5th between Hernandez and Kyle Kraus. There's also a battle for 7th between Chris Champeau and Ken Campbell. And it looks like Kraus is going to win out that little battle with Hernandez to take the top 5 position. Thomas Harmon in the high lane. He's going to slot back into 3rd. Kraus now looking like he wants to try and make a move on the outside of Christian Budd. Then try to side draft on the back of Christian Budd's car. And now he's picking up the draft. That's the draft of John Lizelle. And here comes the 88 of Hernandez as well. John Lizelle once more trying to go for the inside move on Matt Horton. Will he have the support this time? Not along the back straight, he doesn't. But Thomas Harmon is stuck in the outside line now as the 50 of Christian Budd's moved up to the inside. Oh! And Horton has gone around. We have a pile up. And that is going to bring out our first caution of the day. Let's back this up and have another look at it in slow-mo. Coming out of turn 4. Both drivers started moving up the track, but it looked like maybe Lizelle moving a little bit faster than Horton. And that's damage for the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Damage for the 60 of Kyle Kraus. 15 of Ken Campbell. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. 2 of Chris Champeau involved as well. Oh, look at Thomas. He got some airtime then. Let's back that up a little bit more. Have a look at that again. Damn. Had all 4 wheels off the ground for a second. He bounces his way back down the track. But quite a few cars caught up in that one. So we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have this all cleaned up and see what the end result is of who we have left. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the It Won't Ruin Your Life 150 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And caution flag pit stops have just taken place. And we have lost a Thomas Harmon from the race. That is absolutely guaranteed. We do have Christian Budd back in the lead. P2 is going to go the way of Travis Massey. You can see James Watson in the 39 there in third. We're going to have Jonas Marquez in fourth, Sam Niederhelm fifth, Ryan Pizzicami P6, but he's just gone back into the pit, so Mark Pentecoff P6, John Lozelle 7th, Chris Champeau in 8th, Ken Campbell 9th, and Kyle Kraus, as long as he doesn't have to get any more damage fixed, will be in P10.
I'm sorry, you can slap me later, okay? But if you
Alrighty, Angry Midget outburst aside, we're currently sitting at 22 laps complete. Means we're going to have 77.5 laps to go now. Just waiting on these guys to get the Wonder Green signal, which will probably happen when they cross the start finish line this time.
bloody hell. Oh, yeah.
Alright, there we go. Everyone's starting to line up side by side now. So it looks like we've got 11 on the lead lap. I think everyone else is currently lapped down. That's Matt Horton, Jonathan Hernandez, and the 24 of Frank Isaacson. The pace car is going to pull in this time. We're going to have 75 laps left to run soon. And Christian Budd is off and racing. Thundering down into turns 1 and 2 they go. And here comes James Watson trying to make a move up on the inside of Travis Massey now. Got the 64 Jonas Marquez there as well. Looks like Travis Massey is going to lose out on a lot of positions. There's a couple cars here with a little bit of damage, and a little bit of damage definitely affect the aero handling of these cars, especially if it's on the right side. Make them all so much more tighter. And look at this little battle pack they got going on in the middle here. The 2 of Chris Champeau on the inside. 78 of Brian Pizzakemi on the outside. These guys battling over the 4th position. John Lazelle's on the outside. Got Kevin Campbell on the inside. 5 of Mark Pentacup outside. The 13 of Travis Massier inside. And the 66 of Sam Niederhelm at the back of this. Looks like the 60 of Kyle Kraus has fallen off the back of this pack. That's the damage I was talking about. The winner of that little battle was the 2 of Chris Champeau, as he is now clean and clear in 4th, and he's looking for 3rd. He goes to the outside of Jonas Marquez. But the 24, the 88, still in the pits. Same 2 for the 33 and Matt Horton. 2 by 2 we go behind our leader, Christian Budd. And this is what pack racing should be. See the 50 of Christian Budd trying to play both lanes here. He's sticking himself in front of whichever one is fastest. As the 2 of Chris Champeau now moves up into 2nd, he was very briefly looking to the inside of Christian Budd. As the 15 of Ken Campbell trying to make something work anywhere, as he's moved his way up into 3rd. Chris Champeau, definitely one of our better drivers. Just gets caught up in a few incidents here and there. It's great seeing some new faces up towards the front of the pack. I love the 32 of James Watson, the 15 of Ken Campbell. See that the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez just coming back out of the pits finally. He's staying on the apron to stay out of everyone's way. And the 2 and the 50 seem to be pulling away from the rest of the pack here a little bit. The 15 of Ken Campbell definitely taking over the 3rd place. And he's chasing really hard onto the tail of the 2 of Chris Champeau. Looks like we're almost going to get some of those hashtag pockets of excitement. Jonas trying to slot his way up into the 5th position there in front of Brian Pizzakemi. I say he's damn near got it done too. Just about. Pizzakemi getting the advantage with the momentum on the outside line. Now he's going to slot his way back now into the 5th position after getting the help from John Lazelle, the earlier front row sitter. What a run for John Lazelle as well, actually. He had damage from that first crash. And he moved his way back up towards the top 5. Starting to fall off a little bit now. You know, the worst he can possibly finish without crashing is going to be 11th. The 60 of Kyle Kraus has that pretty much sewn up at the moment, as he's only on the back straight while these guys are all passing the start-finish line. There's a 33 Matt holding up at the top of the track. He's gone multiple laps down. He's 9 laps down as it stands right now. Jonathan Hernandez, who recently went back to the pits, is currently 12 laps down, nearly 13. I don't think those guys are going to be troubling the rest of them for positions unless we have a few more incidents. Kemi sitting there in fourth now as he's gotten around Jonas Marquez. He's going to be trying to charge for the top 3 and possibly a win here. You know, he's very hungry for a win. He's also very hungry for a decent finishing position. Looks like for the most part we've just single filed out all throughout the field. As we're starting to get closer and closer to halfway. We know that these guys have to make at least one more stop. But rather than this being a fuel strategy race, they've turned it into a tyre strategy race. With that one caution at a quarter of the way through. So it's all going to be about picking the right time to come to the pits. Do you pit early and get the fresh tyre advantage sooner? Do you pit later to have fresher tyres for later in the race? Here comes the 2 of Chris Champeau and the 39 James Watson, both trying to make moves now. The 50 of Christian Budd has been shuffled out of the lead. Ryan Pizzakemi now leading this race. Oh, into the wall goes the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Going to make his car run terribly tight on the long runs now, of which this has become one. Most of these guys have been on these tyres for 24 laps. And when they all came in on that caution. And tyre wear is not very high in these cars at all. I just wonder why Christian Budd's backing off so much. As now Ken Campbell making a move for the lead, if you don't mind. Up on the inside of Brian Pizzakemi he goes with the help from the 2 of Chris Champeau. See Chris Champeau using the apron, but Ken Campbell was not. 2x2 they go for third. That's James Watson and the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Pizzakemi continuing to run on the outside line. And he's actually back almost up into second position. Officially that time Chris Champeau still P2. Now these two are absolutely side by side. Looks like Pizzakemi wants to just keep the outside run going here, trying to take the lead. But his drafting buddy there in Chris Champeau just not quite close enough to get him around a two of Christian Budd was not close enough to get the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi around Chris Champeau. Words are hard, and so is reading. But now, side by side for the lead is 78 of Brian Pizzakemi on the outside of Ken Campbell. We'll see how they go as they cross the line here. It's still Ken Campbell at the line. Will Christian Budd push Pizzakemi into the lead, or will Chris Champeau help Ken Campbell to maintain? Looks like that outside line's holding on to the advantage. And does it hold on to the advantage? Both Pizzakemi and Christian Budd getting clear of Ken Campbell. Now Ken trying to fight back on the inside. Oh, that was a very close clear for Christian Budd. Three wide they go now for third. With Chris Champeau in the middle, Ken Campbell on the bottom. And the 64, Jonas Marquez on the outside. Told you this was pack racing, and we're seeing that in earnest right now. We've been and gone past the halfway marker now. 47 and a half laps to go. Oh, contact from the 23 of John Lazelle. And it looks like he's heading into the pits this time, actually. So it looks like pit stops are on the cards right now. Lazelle looking for the fresh tyre advantage earlier in the run. Not a bad strategy, but I think without a drafting partner, it's kind of going to screw him a little bit. Looks like we actually have groups of cars now. We've got the top four. And we have 5th through 9th. John Lazelle actually been in the pits for a long time now. I think he might have gotten some extra damage. He's already gone 2 laps down. Means we only have the top 10 on the lead lap. Kyle Kraus is about 5 seconds away from going a lap down. Hanging with our top two here is the 64 of Jonas Marquez, just sitting back there in third. Matt Horton has just come out behind these three as well. Looks like he's managed to get most of the damage fixed on his car. The 33 has. Look at that group behind him though. See, where's Matt Horton? He's 11 laps down in 12th right now. Thomas Harmon and Jonathan Hernandez are both OUT out of this race. Looks like Horton now starting to get out of the way for the second pack that's coming through. Pack of 6 here. John Lazelle's in that one. He's now... Actually, no, John Lazelle's not in that one, but John Lazelle's gone 7 laps down sitting in the pits. I think he has some major damage on that automobile. Ryan Pizzacchemi still leading the way. Now here's something that our leaders haven't encountered too much of is lap traffic as they get around Frank Isaacson, who's down in 13th. There's a 60 of Kyle Kraus as well, who's finally going to go 1 lap down. Just 37 laps to go. We're going to have a quick commercial break here. And when we come back, we're going to be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And welcome back now to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the It Won't Ruin Your Life 150. And as you can see, Brian Pizzakemi still in the lead from Christian Budd and Jonas Marquez. Background, Kyle Kraus, who is a lap down and finally in some draft, is holding on to these guys. So if we get a caution, he's the first car a lap down. He will be brought back onto the lead lap. And it would seem that at least my timing and scoring has gone a little bit skew-if, but I think most people have pitted. Kyle Kraus has not pitted since earlier. But it's still Pizzakemi, Budd and Marquez out on track who have not pitted recently. But it says Kyle Kraus is in 4th right now, sitting in behind these guys. But only the top 3 on the lead lap as everyone else has pitted. It looks like they're coming in for their pit stop now, all 4 of them. A little bit of contact in the back of it. As Kyle Kraus was getting around Jonas Marquez coming into the pits. So let's keep an eye on these 4. Good stop for Pizzakemi, and even better stop for Christian Budd. The Christian Budd effectively going back into the lead of this race now. And he's actually built up quite a distance over Pizzakemi, so Pizzakemi must have had something go wrong as he was getting into his pit box that we didn't see. Puts Kyle Kraus back into the first car 1 lap down category in 10th. Now that these guys have completed their stops. But the whole order has been reshuffled once more. Going to be Budd, Pizzakemi, Masia, Champo and Campbell as your top 5. Christian Budd with 1.5 seconds over Pizzakemi. Pizzakemi has Kyle Kraus in behind him. Travis Masia dropping to 3rd. I think Masia actually has a little bit of a pack here with him. He does. 2 of Chris Champo and the 15 of Ken Campbell. These guys are catching up to Kraus and Pizzakemi. Now these guys as a quintet should be much faster than Christian Budd by himself. And I'm not talking just a little bit faster, I'm talking these guys are going to be exponentially faster, but Travis Masia not wanting to be stuck behind Kyle. Jumping in underneath him to get on the back of Pizzakemi. Pizzakemi, who is on fresher tyres by, what's that, 4 laps than Travis Masia. Wanting to hold on to the lead of these guys. Jonas Marquez, the other one who was in the top 3, has dropped down to P6. And look at the push. As they didn't get around the 50 of Christian Budd when they got to him, they decided to push him instead. I'm not sure if that was the smartest of moves by Pizzakemi, who was leading the lane. I would have freight trained around him, honestly. And now we have a battle for the top 5, with the added bonus of Kyle Kraus being on the back of it. Let's see what these guys can do in the next 23 laps. Will anyone be able to beat Christian Budd now that I think that they've lost their golden opportunity to get around him? Looks like we've got a funeral processional going on right now as they're starting to catch up to 24 of Frank Isaacson, who's in P12, multiple laps down. We do have another battle pack a fair ways away from these guys. This is it. Jonas Marquez leading this one in P6. James Watson, Mark Pentecup, and Sam Niederhelm. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's just about a guaranteed top 10 for these guys. As Matt Horton is 10 laps down. Frank Isaacson is 35 laps down. And Lazelle is another one who has joined the DNF list. Back up to the front of the pack. As long as I click the right thing. Get a 50 of Christian Budd. Still leading from Pizzicami. Pizzicami wanting to get around him. As I said, with the missed opportunity of getting around him when they had the chance, I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it. Las Vegas is a notoriously hard track to try and make an overtake work. The draft is a big factor in that one. They're catching up to Matt Horton now in 11th, who's going to go another lap down. So Matt Horton now 11 laps down on the field. 10 laps separate Kraus from Horton. As they catch up to Frank Isaacson once more. Frank running that high line, staying out of everyone's way. It doesn't look like there's just very much movement in this pack. Go back to the other pack, the pack of 4. These guys, it looks like a much similar story. There's just not really too much going on. They're just trying to stay single-filed and run out the rest of the race by the looks of things. We're coming to 16 laps to go. I just don't know if anyone has anything for Christian Budd here. I mean, you would imagine someone would have something for him with the way that the draft is working. Chris Champeau's not close enough to Brian Pizzicami that they can work together and try anything. Looks like Chris Champeau heard me. He's gotten a little bit closer now. Brian Pizzicami making the move on the inside of Christian Budd. And Chris Champeau goes to the outside to help push Christian. And Christian Budd goes back into the lead. It's almost as if these guys just want him to be dominant at this point. Another golden opportunity gone to waste. We now have just 12 laps left to run in this race. Now, if they went flag to flag with no stoppages, this race would be over now. But we still got 11 laps to go. How much extra time caution flag periods add. Brian Pizzicami has to be thinking, what can he do to try and get around Christian Budd? Especially if Chris Champeau is going to go on the outside lane and push Christian on the back straight. I think those two would want to work together to get around Christian Budd. Or, you know, can Campbell slip up on the inside of Champeau to try and make some moves stick? Pizzicami now trying to get a run on Christian. Not going to work going into turn one. He almost has a gap. Almost contact. If he could hold on the inside line going into a corner, he'd probably get there. But now here comes Chris Champeau on the inside of Pizzicami. 8 laps to go in this race. They go around Frank Isaacson once more. Oh, Chris Champeau hit the apron. Hit the apron, moved off the track. This is now starting to scatter the field a little bit. Here comes Kyle Kraus on the outside. Looking like he wants to try and help Pizzicami a little bit. Not a question of if he can, it's a question of can he? Because that car has that little bit of damage now. Chris Champeau up into P2. Ken Campbell moving his way into third. Looks like Pizzicami dropping into fourth. Kyle Kraus moving back to the back of these guys. When we get to the start finish line this time, there's only going to be 5 laps left in this race. Chris Champeau looking around a little bit, seeing if he can find a place where he can make a move. Christian Budd getting very defensive. Chris and Chris show at the front of the pack. And Chris Champeau now getting defensive on Ken Campbell. could have almost turned that defense into an attack, but he didn't. 4 to go now. Who is going to come out on top? Is it too late already? Is this little bit of infighting here towards the end of the race going to help Christian Budd to maintain the lead? Three laps to go now. It's crunch time. These guys have got to start making the moves and quit faking them. Look at that block. Now Ken Campbell trying to get up on the inside of Chris Champeau. It's not going to work. On the outside is Brian Pizzicami. He's trying to side draft on Ken Campbell. Now he's going to have the draft of Chris Champeau. He's also got the 60 of Kyle Kraus helping him from behind. All Ken Campbell has is the 13 of Travis Massia. Now back up into third goes Pizzicami. Now Pizzicami, we know he's going to make a move and he's going to try and make it stick. 2 laps to go. Does he have enough time though? This is a race. This is where the race tends to get exciting. Chris Champeau with an early jump. Brian Pizzicami with a late jump, getting right down on the apron. He got a little bit tight. Almost got into the side of Chris Champeau, but doesn't. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Christian Budd. And Brian Pizzicami trying to take away second. Ken Campbell trying to slot his way up into third. The battle for second is better than watching the leader right now. We'll keep an eye on all of it though. There's the 33 Matt Horton again. He's probably going to go another lap down before the end of this race. Here we come out of turn 4 for the final time. Your winner is going to be Christian Budd, P2. I think P2 went to Brian Pizzicami, then Chris Champeau, Travis Massia, and Ken Campbell. What an exciting finish to this race. James Watson, Jonas Marquez, Sam Niederhelm, and Mark Pentecoff, your 6th through 9th, with Kyle Kraus 1 lap down in 10th position. But here is your winner, the 50th Christian Budd. And he's going to celebrate it in style here at Las Vegas. Doing a couple of donuts over the start finish line, as one does. All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to do our little bit of the end of the race rundown. We obviously cannot do driver interviews because, well, there's no one to interview. So we will be back in just a couple of minutes. All right, it's time for our top 3 rundown now. Kicking things off with Chris Champeau. Chris started in P8 and finished in 3rd here this evening. And generally a good race from him. You can see a little bit of damage on his car, just a little bit around. He was caught up in that early incident. And he's just been on the up and up lately. He hasn't been striking out with some bad luck, which is really great to see. And our second place getter here today, also our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And that is, of course, going to 78 of Mr. Brian Pizzicami. What can I say? Pizzicami gained 10 positions in that race, started from P12. The crash definitely helped him out because he got around most of the field and restarted up towards the front. And he was there or thereabouts at the front of the pack for the rest of the race, which is really encouraging to see. And it's actually really encouraging to see him qualify as well, because normally he misses out on the Hard Charger Award by not qualifying. So good to see Brian Pizzicami up there. Coming up next is, of course, our leader, the most dominant car of every race, 50 of Christian Budd. And Christian didn't have it all his own way this time. He dropped back a little bit in that first run after the caution period and, regained the lead after the pit stops and just didn't really look back from there. And they definitely had their opportunities to get around him, just couldn't quite capitalize on the opportunities that were presented to them. And that is why Christian Budd came home with the win here tonight. But that is going to wrap things up here for the It Won't Ruin Your Life 150 from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Catch up with us next week when we go to the Richmond Raceway for our last race of the regular season before we go into our 3-race chase. And that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be Kentucky, New Hampshire, and Michigan to wrap off the season. And those are going to be our 3 chase races. But before that, we've got 140 laps of the Richmond Raceway coming up, which is going to be very interesting indeed. So until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys then.